Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's version of Living Life in an Awakening Way. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to invite you to join with me in the recognition of the heavenly host who is gathered about us, including angels, angels of love, angels of mercy, angels of healing, angels of light. And please at the same time realize your guides and your teachers are readily available. If you'll call upon them, do so now, that they might help you to be more open and receptive to the message that comes through today. So, I look about me, and the surroundings I'm in, they're very natural, they're very harmonious. I'm blessed in that respect that I can be up here at the ranch, and in that, feel the connection of the natural order of life. Of course, we're all placed in this shelter of place situation, and I did want to, of course, bring this to your attention that shelter of place, in a way, I think its original design was to isolate us. And of course, we've been told for our own protection because of this COVID-19. Now, I'm going to be bringing some information to you that for some of you it may be a little other than what you have been programmed to believe, but I want you to look again and see, here you are. You have this opportunity in shelter in place to go within. You don't have to go to work, or you're having work at home, so your lifestyle has changed. And I'm saying this in respect of this is providing a new normal. Life will never be as it was before this. So here you are. Here you are with this opportunity to go within. Reflect on who you are and where you are. Instead of tuning in and staying tuned in to mainstream media, which is giving you a very limited and inaccurate realization of what's happening, you decide to go within yourself. Perhaps you decide to take into account, I need to get quiet. I need to calm myself down. I need to perhaps open myself up with things that maybe I'm a little familiar with or I need to become more familiar with, such as meditation, such as going in and seeing what's going on within my own inner awareness. You see, a shift is happening. This is a time of major shift. So perhaps putting this word into place for you can help you to look and see, all right, appearances seem to be a certain way, but behind the appearances and in the invisible, a tremendous amount of shifting is occurring. Okay, so in that I'm going to make a shift and I'm going to go to addressing a part of you that is involved in a major shift, and that's how you view yourself. How you view yourself often has to do with who you believe yourself to be. And who you believe yourself to be is, to a major extent, determined by ego. Now, you may think you're ego, and that ego is you. Whereas in reality, let's look at it and say, you have an ego. And your ego is a part of your development, it's a part of all humanity's development, and that it's an important tool that has helped us to gain a little distance from codependency. So in that, you might say you awaken to a liberation of independence. But look at this. It's really important that you begin to look inside yourself and see that there is a continuing of a shift occurring that is helping you to move away from that egoic belief of who you are, so that you can begin to open up in your inner awareness and make discoveries about who you truly are, and at the same time look and see there is a connectedness that exists with all of us of humanity, to where the shift is leading us to a unified field of conscious awareness. I know that may seem really far-fetched with what's going on and all the program that's happening, and I don't say that to just skip over it as if it were light. It's a major influence in our world right now. Because you see, if you only listen to mainstream media while you're in shelter in place, you're getting the exact programming that mainstream media is designed to give you, and that's fear-based. Things are brought to your attention, and the way that they are, they're out of proportion. So I'm saying this because I want to stimulate you to become involved in researching and discovering more about what's actually going on, instead of being programmed to believe what's going on as if it were the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So open yourself up. Now, the shift, it really is happening within each and every one of us. Of course, it's happening in the world about us too simultaneously, but the one that I want you to take into account here today is what's going on with you. If you can open yourself up and begin to say, oh, right, the way I've come to see myself is not exactly a true description of who I am. And as you begin to open up, then you're beginning to involve yourself in an awakening where you begin to see who I believe myself to be is filled with all kinds of disinformation, because belief goes all the way back to programming of how you were raised, how you were influenced, how it affected you to come to look at yourself, and in many instances to come to look at yourself as if you're flawed, as if there's something wrong with you, and you have, as a part of your attending awareness, a constant anxiety of who you are, what's going on, so that all of this together gives you to a place of seeing things from a misread perspective. So, that's part of what I'm talking about, a shift. That you actually honor yourself, you actually value yourself enough to take the time, the effort, and the energy to look again and see, well, who am I? And why am I here? What am I here to accomplish? Who am I here to be? Okay, if you can get that far, then you're getting to a place where a lot of people right now, as a matter of fact, I'd say millions more right now, because of this shelter in place, are starting to make a shift in looking at life differently than from the perspective they had when they were so engaged in what they first, or before this happened, considered actually living their lives. They were so filled with, got to do this, got to do that, got to be here, got to be there, and all of these things are taken away right now. And look and see what a valuable time and what an opportunity for you to grow in yourself. But at the same time, I say, don't take yourself so seriously. Got to have a little humor here, okay? Instead of thinking, oh my God, the end of the world. Okay, the end of the world as we knew it, but not the end of your world. It is the opening of a new beginning for you. So, having a good sense of humor is vital, okay? And it's vital for you to be able to look at yourself and say, all right, there's something about me that I can learn, but I can also take it with a light vein. And then those around you, my goodness. I accidentally coughed in a store the other day, and someone said, uh-oh, like I was going to immediately infect them with something. A little overreaction. I I would imagine right now, even though I haven't seen that person again, that they're still alive, they're well, but only as well as they're allowing their fear to help them be well. So humor keeps you flexible. It helps you to be open-minded with others who are right now pretty closed-minded because of fear. It also is a kind of humor that I would suggest that you have, that you can mock the gods and mock the devils at the same time, to where you realize that they are, for the most part, creations of our own awareness. Okay, now I want to make a quote by Einstein. The significant problems that we face cannot be solved at the same level of thinking we were at when we created those problems. So you have to open yourself up and realize that you have access to more of you and a deeper aspect of you than perhaps you've recognized up to now. Let yourself fire up with your imagination. Let yourself fire up with your creative capacity, to where you then welcome in novel ways of perceiving reality. And with this, of course, I'm suggesting things where you can make mistakes. So let yourself be willing to make mistakes. Instead of letting fear dominate your choice making, to where you say, no, I can't go there because I'm afraid if I go there, I'm going to make a mistake. Well, that's making a mistake as far as I'm concerned right now. So look at this and see, okay, up to now, I get honest with myself and I see I've allowed fear to influence me much farther than I need to be influenced. So look fear in the face. Instead of avoiding it, instead of denying it, look it in the face. Let your fear that you recognize fuel your courage. Let your fear fuel your courage so that it can then rise up, meaning the courage, and cancel out the fear. To where you choose a course of honesty. That means you got to look inside yourself and look about you. And perhaps put yourself at a risk of sacrificing popularity to be true to yourself and to live your truth. Your fear of being wrong, your fear of failing, can act as either a form of resistance that prevents you from discovering more, or you let it become the fuel of being active as a force in this inactive and stagnant society in which we find ourselves. So, I'm bringing in a word now that perhaps some of you are familiar with, and is Pathfinder. Years ago, Spirit brought to my attention and a group of us, while we were on what was called a pilgrimage, that we were all pathfinders, and that we were actually in our lives living a life that was finding where we were finding our path as we walked along it. Look and see that this shift that we're involved in is truly where we put ourselves in a position of seeing ourselves as a pathfinder, and we choose to find our path as we move along it. In other words, we're becoming pioneers in the navigating our path, and we're also discovering unknown paths, and it is something that as we do so, we come alive and we grow in our confidence. We grow stronger in our trust of ourselves, and also in realizing at the same time what we're doing is we're engaging in a transformation of our own minds. That our minds are transforming from a narrow, limited set of beliefs into an expansive awareness that is opening us up to higher states of consciousness. So when you're engaged in something like this, it can at times actually be overwhelming because of the realization of what I believe to be true isn't true, and what I'm discovering is something so new that it's challenging me to be able to actually embrace it. So, equilibrium, balance. Take into account your state of health. What are you doing to have a healthy body? What are you doing to have healthy emotions? What are you doing to have healthy thoughts? What are you doing to have a healthy relationship with yourself? A healthy relationship with others. So look and see that balance for a being with a mind, body, and soul is really a lot about health. So, to summarize this part of it, a healthy mind requires a healthy body, which together depends on a healthy society in a harmonious relationship to the earth. Okay, I pause there for a moment to give you the opportunity to look and see, okay, is this the opportunity for one of those questions you were talking about? Yes, it is. Because you see, as it stands, our current society is profoundly sick. It's out of focus, it's out of balance, it's out of harmony. And not only within itself, amongst itself, but also with the earth. Look at some of the few brief, accurate descriptions that mainstream media has brought to our attention, but not for long, and that is, for some strange reason, the atmosphere is cleared up. For some strange reason, animals are coming out and being seen in areas where they weren't before. So, this is an encouragement for you to look and see the natural world that's all around us is beckoning us to come in, and from an involvement, a relationship of honoring, we reintroduce ourselves into the natural world. Bless it, love it, respect it, and do this in a way that causes you to feel good about you establishing a relationship with life that is one of respect. Okay, so we take that together and we see, all right, we have this opportunity to make a shift and actually help bring healing into our society from becoming more healthy in ourselves and bringing that energy into our interconnection with others. So perhaps this will help you to look and see that the health of our species is at stake. Not only just our species, but many other species on our planet. And for us to just look at it and say, there's nothing I can do, it's beyond me, that is a mindset that is a part of belief that has to do with you feeling that you're less than. This is an unhealthy mindset, and it is not an accurate description of who you are. And that's why in the beginning of this I said, use this opportunity of shelter in place to shift in your relationship to yourself, about yourself. And then have the courage to share this with others. And if they can't handle it, well, you're sowing seeds. Look and see, we're not on the same level and in the same perspective, but all of us are being encouraged by this unseen host that I mentioned in the beginning. We're being encouraged to awaken, and in our awakening to do this so that we help each other help ourselves. Take on the responsibility of being a beacon of hope in this time where everybody else is being programmed to see only the dark. Allow yourself to be willing to take on a little bit of ridicule from others who haven't quite waked up to see what's happening nor who they are. Go ahead and do it. Engage yourself in helping, in shifting the consciousness of a few who are receptive. This means getting out of your comfort zone at times. Because you see, when we shift minds, we shift worlds. And this right now is a time of recognizing we're engaging in the renewing of our own minds. Because when we look at ourselves and see how we have become so programmed to where our belief self has limited us down, has put us in such a low self-esteem, we see it is time for transformation. And the transformation happens within us, within each and every one of us. So that truly, that biblical scripture is brought to life in a powerful way of be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Take this opportunity, this time of shift, while you are in the shelter of place, to open up and make discoveries about who you are and who our world is. Thank you for this opportunity. For more information about the Metaphysical Church of Enlightenment or the Rodin Foundation, please go to our website at www.rodin.org. If you have been inspired by the revelations shared in these podcasts, please donate to the Rodin Foundation's ongoing efforts to help others help themselves at www.rodin.org/donate.